Hi, I'm BK Shear, co-author of the Eden series. And today I'm going to share 4 drinks that I created, one for each book of the series. Now, in other words, I'm showing you what would Jaime drink. So with help from my assistant bartender, Ewan here, I'm going to introduce the first drink, which I call General Order Number 1. As you may recall, the first book of the series, which is Chasing Eden, takes place over just a couple of days in Kuwait and Iraq during the opening of Operation Iraqi Freedom. So during the entire time of that book, Jaime is deployed to a combat zone as a U.S. soldier. Well, there are a set of rules that are set out each time the U.S. deploys to a combat zone, and they call these rules General Order Number 1. Always, as a part of those rules, is the fact that you are not allowed to drink alcohol. Therefore, this drink for Jaime, for Chasing Eden, is going to have to be a non-alcoholic drink. General Order Number 1 is a fairly easy drink to make, but the ingredients are extremely important. First, you go to your refrigerator and you take out 1 bottle of non-alcoholic beer. In this case, I happen to have some Heineken near beer. You take your bottle opener and you open it. Now, the most important thing about this is you can't put it in a glass because you wouldn't have a glass to drink it in. So, cheers. You know, if you're in Kuwait and it's 140 degrees outside and your supply people have managed to find some ice and make the near beer real cold, it almost tastes like beer. The second book of this series is Beyond Eden. And I have devised a drink for this one in honor of Jaime's return from Eden back to the real world. You may remember that in the opening of the book, a convoy finds Jaime along the side of the road outside Baghdad. Now, this is a very dangerous area, and one of the things that convoys had to deal with constantly were IEDs, which is the military acronym for Improvised Explosive Device. So that's what I've decided to call this drink, the IED. It's kind of fun to make. It's one of my favorites because it starts with ice cream. Now, in this case, I happen to find some Bordeaux cherry, which is one of my favorites. And basically, I'm going to start by making an old-fashioned float. And this cherry ice cream with some 7-Up is going to be just perfect. Let that fluff up a little bit. Now, while it's doing that, we'll talk about why this is an improvised explosive device. That's because one of the most dangerous things about those explosions is that the bombs are hidden on the road underneath things, like they dig a hole in the road and put dirt over the top or put trash over the top of it so you don't see that it's there. So to make the IED drink, I'm going to take some peppermint schnapps and one of my favorite shot glasses here with the penguin on it. And we're going to drop it down inside. It's kind of disappearing down in there. But you have to make sure it's totally covered up and totally disappears. So, we can add a little Ready Whip over the top. And if you're going to have Ready Whip, well, it's got to be cherry on top too. This looks like a very safe drink, but hidden deep down inside is some peppermint schnapps. If you want to drink it like a float, then you need your reusable straw. And we have the IED. If you have a sweet tooth, this can be your entire dinner. The third drink is from the book Treasure of Eden. I've called this drink Op 2 on Duty. because Jaime and a group of operatives from Eden are at the Hotel Belvedere in Davos, Switzerland, trying to work undercover to figure out what is going to happen in a particular plot. And since they're undercover, they're sitting in a lounge looking like they're drinking. And it says that Jaime has a drink that looks like a gin and tonic. But since she's on duty, it can't be an alcoholic drink. She's got to keep her wits about her. So the drink I've developed that I call Up To on Duty is somewhat like a gin and tonic without the gin. So of course we have to have some ice in the drink. You don't mind if I use my hands, right? I'm the one who's going to be drinking this. Of course, you've got to have the tonic. I have to have some Canada Dry here. But I figured just tonic would be kind of boring. So we're going to add some sweet and sour. But in my world, a gin and tonic isn't a gin and tonic without lime. And as is appropriate, and as it says in the book, hers has 2 slices because you just can't just have enough lime in your drink. So the first one has got to get squeezed in and then just dropped inside. And then the second one can be garnish, sort of, but it is eventually going to go in the drink too. Easy to make, tasty afternoon cooler, I call Up To on Duty. The fourth drink is from the book Plagues of Eden. And in this book, Jaime is in a race against time to figure out who is recreating the plagues of ancient Egypt and to try to stop them before they get to the death of the firstborn. Now, the drink I've chosen for Jaime in this book is not one that I've made up because it already has existed for some time. At one point in the book, she and others following clues must go to the top of the Eiffel Tower and obtain a bottle of the famous Veuve Clicquot champagne. And this is also known as the widow's drink. In fact, I think there's a little painting of the widow Clicquot on the top of the bottle. So this is the drink for her, and you know the deal with champagne. You just got to be very careful in taking the top off. Usually, if you work it a little, oh, I can smell it. So that's the fourth drink, and the drink that they would drink is the widow's drink, Veuve Clicquot. Now, here's where I'm not very much of an expert. Do you need to let it breathe? I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and pour out into my glass. It's very good. It better be. And the rest is going back into the... Come on over for the party. I can't drink this whole bottle myself. Thanks for watching.